and into Thursday.
And we continue to bring those tips for severe weather safety so you can be prepared and not scared when storms arise as we head into the winter weather severe weather season.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Tania Michelle joining us again. And Tania, this looks like the next best chance for wet weather we've seen in quite some time coming up for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I definitely think we could see some heavy rain, hopefully alleviate some of the drought conditions. That's a thumbs up. Plus, Wes, cooler temperatures?
Yeah, some cooler temperatures later on this week. It looks like we're going to have lows in the 40s, and late next week we're seeing another system that's going to bring the possibility of a freeze threat. So the pattern is changing here. It's starting to change. As we talked about, you get to November, you know it's just a matter of time here. But let's go to radar right now, because if you are about to head out the door, this is just a little bit of ground clutter. We don't have rain at the moment, but we're going to be talking about a chance for some showers coming back late tonight and into the early morning hours tomorrow. Temperature-wise, you can see we're in the 60s out there. And as we look ahead, some of the data I want to show you, we'll go to radar, and you can see there's some showers down into the southwest part of the state. Right now showing up around places like Mobile, Jackson County, and some of this rain is going to start to lift in and reach us around places like Demopolis over the southwest part of the area through this evening. But as we go through the overnight hours, showers will be around tomorrow morning. That's round number one. Won't last all day. There will be some breaks, but then some heavier rain comes in, some rumbles of thunder tomorrow night. And it's going to be windy out there as well. Could have some gusts up to 20 miles per hour. Not seeing a First Alert weather day kind of setup here, but we will have a setup where we have certainly a better rain chance, better coverage, some rumbles of thunder through the overnight, and that's going to set the stage for colder weather and drier weather for our weekend. So that's the next big thing we're going to be talking about. So here's a look at the next 24 hours and those clouds building in. You can see the rain, a chance for some showers in the morning, and then we'll catch some breaks after that. And as we take it into the afternoon, here comes some of that steadier rain there by 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, and that's going to set in tomorrow night and into the morning hours on Thursday. And again, there may be some rumbles of thunder during the overnight hours. So that's what we're going to be tracking there. Once again, I want to walk you through this. There's a look at midnight. Let's take it to 5 o'clock in the morning. We'll stop it right there, 7 o'clock, and you can just kind of get an idea of the timing for this throughout the day. It is going to be cooler across East Alabama. A chance we'll probably see those highs struggling to break out of the 50s. There's 8 o'clock, though, tomorrow night, and by 9 o'clock, you can see really starting to cover up as far as that rain goes across our area. But talking about rain tomorrow night, and also, check it out, there might be another tropical system over the Caribbean soon. We're watching what may soon become Tropical Storm Sarah. Yeah, we're up to the S-name system for this time of the year. Could enter the Gulf of Mexico next week. Possible threat over South Florida. And right now, as we go to meteorologist Tania Michelle, Tania's checking on some of that updated model data, and there's a possibility this could end up in the southern Gulf of Mexico, and the state of Florida really needs to pay close attention to this.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about this time frame, really about this time next week. Really in the middle of next week is that sweet spot that a lot of the models are trending that this system could make landfall. So we're paying attention to this because, as Wes was showing, you saw it was red. Well, what does that mean? Well, we're seeing a 70% chance, which means a high and very likely chance that this could be our next named depression or storm, and 90% chance of development in the Caribbean over the next 7 days. But as we take a look at one of those model runs, we'll start off with the Euro model. The European model is just one of the weather models that we use to help try to give us some weather data on where the system could possibly be heading. So as we look and move, as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico, we're still talking about middle of next week. We're expecting, well, watching it very closely because some models are still kind of in agreement on the fact that this system could be impacting Florida. Now, depending on where in Florida does this system make landfall? That's the big question. So the Euro model shows, okay, a better chance for central and South Florida towards Tampa and Fort Myers, in between there, and then eventually moving up the East Coast. But the GFS model shows it eventually moving into the Gulf. And then notice, as we bring in middle of next week, could be impacting the Big Bend area of Florida over towards Cedar Key, and then maybe even being a little bit closer to the United States East Coast, South Carolina, North Carolina, bringing some rough rip currents and maybe even some heavy rain for them as well. So we're going to continue to give you updates on this tropical system as it develops over the next several days. Be sure to check in with us here every day, Monday through Friday, 6:30 on Weather Extra. Wes?
All right, Tania, and you know the front that's coming up next week, we talked about another cold front. That's what's eventually going to sweep that system off to the east. So it's all about the timing and how everything kind of phases up next week. So stay tuned as we get a better handle on how all this will come together. So patterns certainly becoming more active as we head in towards the severe weather season. And as we continue to honor our veterans, meteorologists Matt Daniel and Megan Thomas, they traveled down to Tuscaloosa today, and it was, well, part of the 3rd annual Tuscaloosa County Veterans Weather Radio Giveaway, and it was sponsored by the Tuscaloosa County EMA. Anyone in the area with a veteran ID card was able to receive a free NOAA weather radio, and they had the chance to speak with the community and help program those devices. Of course, help out with the First Alert Weather app. And it was great to see Megan and Matt there today. Of course, we have more events planned in the future, and we will certainly let you know.
Absolutely, but this also comes and is a great time to remind you all about severe weather safety preparedness. So make sure you have a safety kit on hand. That's number one. It should have things like flashlights, medicine, and other useful items, even water. Have those multiple ways to receive alerts, whether that's through the First Alert Weather app, yes, and a weather radio, yes. It's best to have multiple items on standby so that you can receive weather information. You should also know your safe place in your home in the event of severe weather. And finally, remember to be prepared and not scared. The more you are able to prepare ahead of time, the easier it will be to get through those extreme events. Well, as extreme weather events happen, the total cost of damage of these events globally over the last decade was about $2 trillion. That's according to an estimate by the International Chamber of Commerce, and it's roughly in line with the economic toll of the 2008 global financial crisis. The report assessed nearly 4,000 weather events across 6 continents from 2014 to 2023. It combines both the direct monetary toll from the destruction of homes, businesses, and infrastructure, and the impact of the extreme weather on human productivity.
In 30 seconds, we continue to talk about those extreme weather events happening around the world and bring it back home as we talk about tomorrow's rain chances. We'll see you after the break. Well, I didn't know I didn't know if there was sound. You know, I was just kind of cold reading there, so.
Welcome back in to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Tania Michelle here. We are looking at that rain timing as we approach the middle of your week. Tomorrow morning, we'll see the return of some wet weather, so get prepared. Pack the umbrella and the rain jacket. Let's talk about the timing that you can expect it. Starting off for our southwestern counties, 3 a.m. as early as 3 o'clock in the morning till around 7 a.m. is when we'll see the arrival of that rain coming through, and then more towards our central counties, north and west, and stretching down to our south central counties, including Chilton and Coosa County there, 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. And last but not least, pushing further into East Alabama and more likely Northeast Alabama from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. Again, those are the arrival times, so you definitely want to make sure that you have that rain gear on hand because it looks like some wet weather could start early in the day for most areas tomorrow. And we'll see heavy rain continuing into your Wednesday evenings. These are those evening time frames on when that rain will push through, starting off in West Alabama, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., including Northwest down to Sumter County, to our central counties and including some of our northeastern counties, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And last but not least, moving further south and east from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Wes?
All right, Tania. Well, the drought certainly has been a big story for us. It's also a big story, as you can see, I'm zoomed in here. I want to back the view out so you can see there's Philadelphia over the northeast. A lot of this area we're seeing a big concern also for fires, and we've been telling you a lot about a story here of the Jennings Creek wildfire that's been burning along the New York and New Jersey border. Fire crews are still working to contain it as it threatens dozens of structures. Leanne Waldman was on the scene, and she talks about how these drought conditions are contributing to the wildfires.
Helicopters are circling overhead, dumping up to 350 gallons of water at a time on top of the Jennings Creek wildfire. We're under a red flag warning with wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour. Behind me, you can see where this wildfire scorched the tree line, getting dangerously close to where people live just on the other side of this road. The New Jersey Forest Fire Service working alongside crews from New York to try and contain this blaze, as there's an elevated risk for the spread of this wildfire.
This was not on fire half hour ago.
Thousands of acres near the New York and New Jersey border have been burned by the Jennings Creek wildfire since it sparked last week.
We are asking for people that live on Cliff Road and Greenwood Lake to voluntarily evacuate. People in other areas be prepared to.
Historic drought conditions are fueling the fire, aided in part by wind and dry air. Chris Frennick with the New Jersey Forest Fire Service says the rugged terrain is also a challenge for the response.
Making access to go fight the fire hard to get equipment in there because some areas it's too steep for bulldozers to go to.
Fire crews from New Jersey
And in California, we are watching what seems to be a dust storm that's bringing travel issues to the area, surprising residents yesterday. The National Weather Service in San Joaquin Valley issuing a dust storm advisory, warning that the dust would be reducing visibility, leading to dangerous driving conditions. The dust also affected areas in Fresno County where the National Weather Service issued a dust storm warning. And around the world, Colombian authorities are investigating a mud volcano explosion. The event happening Monday afternoon in the San Jose Mulatos region. Emergency authorities are working with local officials to help evacuate people who live in the area. The director of the Colombian Geological Service saying that yesterday's explosion is probably one of several explosions of the many mud volcanoes that can be found in the area. Even though these are not lava explosions, they can be dangerous and damage a big area. No injuries, though, have been reported, thankfully, and that's so far. Well, we continue to bring those tips on keeping your home comfortable. We take you beyond the 7-day as well. You're watching First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
Come back into First Alert Weather Extra. Already seeing temperatures showing 54 and Sanders Aviation there in Jasper. Some of the outlying areas certainly feeling a lot cooler out there. It's going to be chilly tomorrow morning still. We're going to have some 40s, especially for areas to the north and east. But notice that rain coming back in the morning, lifting in from the southwest. We first have a little wave of showers that move south and north, maybe enough for some wet roads for the morning drive to work tomorrow. But notice by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there's a chance we could catch some breaks. I still think we could see some scattered showers coming back as early as 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, especially across West Alabama. That rain, though, will settle in for the overnight hours. You can see a good coverage here. There's 9 o'clock through 1 a.m. in the early Thursday morning. Maybe some embedded rumbles of thunder. I'm not seeing severe weather out of this. It's going to be windy. Could have some gusts up to 20 miles per hour, that east to southeast wind, but that chance for rain likely tomorrow night. Certainly the best coverage of rain that we have seen in quite some time. There's a marginal severe risk down in the South Mississippi, but it's mostly just some rain and rumbles for us. Thursday morning by 7 o'clock, it's starting to taper off west to east, and the rest of the day Thursday looks like we'll enjoy some improvements, maybe some breaks in those clouds for the afternoon, but a big drop in temperatures coming up for Thursday night and into Friday morning. That colder air returns. We're talking lows back into the 40s here, maybe even some upper 30s by Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So this weekend, it's going to feel like November. It's going to be cold. It's going to be drier during the mornings, real chilly. The afternoon's very comfortable, though. We'll have actual sunshine highs right around 70 degrees. But this is system number 1 coming up here tomorrow into Thursday. Next week around the same time, Wednesday and Thursday, there is another cold front that can move in. And just want to show you that next system in the next week. You can see the chance for rain right there. Check it out, some wet weather moving in, and it's possible that we could see freezing temperatures next week behind that system. So a first alert for the possibility of freezing conditions coming back around the weekend of the 21st. So we're talking about a pattern change happening across the area. A series of fronts certainly more active. This weekend looks dry, cold mornings, afternoon highs around 70, and next week that next front that moves in. And this is what could sweep the tropical system off to the east. So that's what we're kind of timing out. All this will come together next week as that system crosses a region. And it was interesting looking at some of the long-range data, seeing the possibility of even some snow across places like Arkansas. So yeah, we're talking the big-time cold coming up here possibly for next weekend. How about some weather in the classroom? Had a fun time today in Shelby County visiting Linda Nolan Learning Center in Pelham. And the students there today all excited about this nice sunny weather. Of course, we talked about the changing weather coming up and all the kinds of weather that we can have in Alabama, from winter weather to tropical systems, and how we cover the weather here in the WBRC First Alert Weather Center. But want to thank all the students there and the faculty at Linda Nolan. Just an incredible facility there. Always enjoy visiting. And hopefully, Tania, we can visit again very soon. But watching later next week, we're talking about a big drop in temperatures.
Oh, yeah, Wes. You gave us a hint at it, but let me go a little bit deeper as we take you beyond the 7-day. We're looking at that fall air returning. It has been so warm lately, so if you're looking for slightly cooler temps, well, Mother Nature is delivering for you. This weekend, we're going to see those temperatures down in the 40s for most of Alabama, including down towards the coast, maybe some upper 40s down at the coast. But as we take you further out beyond the 7-day into next week, around Thursday time frame, I'm seeing some upper 40s in North Alabama and some 40s here across central Alabama, but even later into next week, we could see some 30s. And like Wes was saying, maybe even some near freezing temperatures at some point in those overnight conditions. But as we look at that CPC outlook, where you are seeing across the U.S. below average to the west and to the east, above average conditions. And that includes us right here across central Alabama. So although we're seeing cooler temps, it's still a lot warmer than where we typically are this time of the year as we look at November 18th through the 22nd. And as far as precipitation, the Pacific Northwest dealing with below average rainfall, but most of the U.S. going to be seeing above normal rainfall, and that includes some of us, really all of us here in the southeast, and us here across central Alabama. Well, don't go anywhere though. You're watching First Weather Extra. We'll have more updates coming up in a couple of minutes right after the break.
If there are people in the house that are cold-natured and they want a little extra heat, something like a space heater can work in those situations. What I would caution everybody about with space heaters, don't leave them unattended. Make sure they're on a stable surface. Make sure they're plugged directly into the outlet. Don't run them on an extension cord because they use quite a bit of electricity. Some of them do, and it can heat up extension cords. And keep them away from anything that's combustible. So don't have them directly next to a chair or a sofa or a bedspread or anything like that. So you just have to
Alrighty, so we know that we are expecting some wet weather for the middle of the week and kind of towards the end of the week. We're talking Wednesday and mainly the first half of your Thursday. But the good news is by the time we reach the weekend, all that wet weather is gone. It might be a little cooler, but at least it's sunny. So perfect conditions are in store for a lot of our football games happening. We'll start off with the Jacksonville State football game. You can see at kickoff 1 p.m. Lots of sunshine, temperatures in the upper 60s and 0% chance of rain. Halftime looking good as well. Of course, it's going to be at the Amherst Stadium. Halftime, upper 60s, lots of sunshine, and by the end of the game, slightly cooler at that point. Remember, our sun sets a lot earlier now. So by the time we reach 4 o'clock, temperatures are already going down. Upper 60s by the end of the game, but still plenty of sunshine. Not only are we seeing sunny skies for the Jacksonville game, we're seeing lots of sunshine for the Alabama game as Mercer takes on Alabama at the Bryant-Denny Stadium this weekend, November the 16th, with a kickoff at 1 p.m. Pretty good conditions. You're going to be in the warmest period of the day with a lot of these kickoff times mid-morning. So that's pretty cool. 1 o'clock, upper 60s, reaching low 70s by halftime. End of that Alabama game, upper 60s. Again, plenty of sunshine, and we're not tracking any rain. So you don't need the umbrella, the rain jacket, none of it as you make your plans this weekend. Whether you're at a football game or doing something else, you can leave the rain gear at home. Let's talk about that Auburn football game forecast. This is also Saturday, 11:45 a.m. kickoff, a little bit earlier in the day, late morning. Louisiana Monroe taking on Auburn at the Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. If you're heading down to Auburn, you can take a look at those temperatures. Kickoff 11:45, upper 60s, lots of sunshine, staying dry for you all as well. Halftime, low 70s and staying in the low 70s for the end of that game. It looks good. And then we just have a full look at those kickoff forecasts, giving you the well-rounded answer. We talked about some of these. Mercer at Alabama Alabama, upper 60s at kickoff. But what about JSU game? We did talk about that one. Memphis, though, UAB at Memphis. If you're heading to Memphis, Tennessee, you're going to have a late game. 7 o'clock kickoff. Temperatures in the upper 50s, looking good. I am not mad at these football forecasts. It was a different story this past weekend where we were seeing cloudier conditions here across central Alabama and some wet weather. But this upcoming weekend, yes, cooler, but plenty of sunshine in store. So we want to take you now to the next 24 hours and kind of